This video and many more are made possible by viewers like you. If you enjoyed, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting via ko-fi.com/BrandonTate77. Hey everyone, it's Brandon. If there is one definitive, inalienable truth that I've observed about musicians, regardless of their preferred genres and or the amount of experience that they have playing music, it's that musicians excel at finding the one particular music topic, that one particular hill that they will gladly climb to the top of and then proceed to die on said hill ad nauseum. And as the title of this video already gives away, I'm certainly no different from this. Preferences in music gear for both studio and live performance use is one such subject where the near infinite amount of useful instruments themselves and all the related gear that's on the market nowadays, musicians will still always find a way to come back to whatever they call old reliable to get the job done. And as a musician myself, in this video, I'd like to stake my claim on my hill of choice. I absolutely love using in-ear monitors. To quickly explain, in-ear monitors, or IEMs, are a piece of audio technology for musicians in particular that allows for you to actually hear yourself and other musicians on stage with you as you are playing live on stage together, or again, even just in the studio together. And for me personally, the stream of sound provided by IEMs is perhaps the greatest peace of mind that I could ask for when it comes to performing music. Now, I should mention my use of IEMs for live music playing hasn't been perfect per se, which we're going to get into a little later. But when I say that I love using IEMs, I mean this in perhaps its best form, where you and your fellow musicians on stage have a dedicated rig alongside you that allows you to plug your instruments into it and provides you with an audible feed of what you're all playing straight to your ears and brain, and while also sending that same massive wave of sound out through the live system of, say, whatever venue you're playing at. Also, on the subject of using in-ear monitors, if you have any interest in how I constructed my own in-ear monitor rig, I did a video on that about a year ago, and I would highly recommend you check that out because I still use that rig to this day and I still have a great amount of fun and get a great amount of use out of it. Now, to be 100% honest with where I find myself now, and as much of a semi-professional musician that I try to be, whether or not I would be using in-ear monitors or not for something is a huge deal breaker for me. If a band project or idea comes my way and one of the first things that isn't discussed is if IEMs will be used or not, it's very likely not going to be something I'd want to be a part of. On the flip side of this, if something that I'm musically a part of is already using in-ear monitors, but for whatever reason suddenly becomes unable to use them, there's a rather likely chance I'm going to be very grumpy about it. Admittedly, I also know this means that I've been a part of far fewer music projects, especially within about the last 2 years from when I put this video out. But hey, that's what YouTube's for in the meantime, as I continue to upload cover videos and during the periods in which I'm not out playing live. Using in-ear monitors or not is different from project to project, and there are plenty of other musicians who don't favor them, and while I do disagree on that, that's what works for them. Bearing in mind that I'm talking solely from my own opinions on IEMs as a whole, in this video I'd like to share 6 reasons why I absolutely love in-ear monitors as a performing musician. Reason number 1, 2 words: hearing protection. Let me reaffirm my concurrent belief to in-ear monitors that if you are going out to experience any sort of live music shows, or even lots of different types of live entertainment in general, please protect your hearing. Live music shows on average tend to be around 100 decibels, if not more, in overall volume, and this can equally be the case for the biggest of venues or the simplest of dive bars. And mind you, what starts to actually become harmful to human hearing is starting at around 85 decibels in volume. So it just drives me absolutely crazy when I see other musicians playing on stage with just no sort of hearing protection on whatsoever. Doesn't even have to be in-ear monitors. The same equally applies if I'm just out enjoying a show myself and see other people around me, in the crowd, with no hearing protection in their ears. The hearing damage and loss that can be inflicted by how loud these shows will often be is just so preventable. Luckily, however, in-ear monitors are fantastic for this. While I mentioned already that in-ear monitors are great for getting a direct feed of what you and your band are playing live together, more often than not, they are built to block out anything that isn't your in-ear audio feed, even if that means blocking out how loud your band might actually be through a venue's sound system. And personally, whether I'm playing live myself or observing someone else playing live, I wear my in-ear monitors, well, underneath a pair of headphones already. I know that's going to sound a bit silly and redundant, and I know it is, but I'm also prone to getting really nasty migraines, and exposure to loud, continuous sound can easily cause one for me. And so the method that I just described for how I wear my in-ear monitors has been amazing for this. But also something I should and hope to do at some point for my love of in-ear monitors is to get custom molded in-ear monitor tips for the inside of my ears rather, because I know that'll produce even greater results for preserving my hearing as long as possible. Reason number 2, every venue is different, and there are a few situations of note I want to mention for this point before tying it back to why in-ear monitors are a great solution for them. I'd say I've played at a broad range of venues such as sports bars, dive bars, outdoor stages, bowling alleys even, and so on. I've also played at venues that were actively undergoing construction when my particular show there took place. Yet unfortunately, while venues themselves can be fun and visually appealing places to play at, I have a deep cautionary concern for the stage monitors at pretty much all venues, and especially at the local music level where we have musicians cycling in and out of venues at, every weekend at least, if not every day. The stage monitors at your local venue are going to see a lot of use, and sadly at times, a lot of abuse. In some cases, depending on your band's size and positioning on stage, some people might have to share a stage monitor mix. And you plus whoever you might have to share that mix with very well could end up with a monitor mix that doesn't work for, or well, really the best for either of you. Worse yet, you might end up playing at a venue that just does not have stage monitors. Yes, that has happened to me. But in that situation as well, if you're not using in-ear monitors, I think the person who's going to be the least happy about it in your band is your drummer. Being able to hear what you're playing live as a musician in the midst of just the sheer wall of sound happening at your venue of the day is so important, and since you're doing all sorts of other prep work and second guessing already, in-ear monitors can eliminate the concern for potentially dicey stage monitors handily while also giving you and your bandmates individual mixes that you're all happy with. Another point of using in-ear monitors from venue to venue is just simply that a transmitter and a receiver are not enough. A common misconception I've seen about using in-ear monitors, myself included in my earliest days of using them, is for someone to go out and buy, say, like a wireless transmitter and receiver package and believe that this alone is the key to getting started on all the fun of using in-ear monitors. Technically speaking, this can be true, but more often than not is not the full solution. The transmitter and receiver are still dependent on a mix of sounds being created for you to hear. And if you and your band aren't already doing that yourselves, say with a dedicated mixer rig that you plug all your inputs to and just customize your in-ear mix off that, you will be dependent on whoever is running sound for your venue to do it for you. And usually that's just a matter of you hand your transmitter to the sound engineer, they plug it in somewhere, and well, between having to help bands do fast changeovers and get all the inputs hooked into the venue's sound system, even more so for the drums more than anything, and to also run sound check down the whole line, the sound engineer taking their time to craft an in-ear monitor mix solely for you on a dime is a high blessing at best and not even a consideration at worst. Now, I know that's going to sound like a huge knock against using in-ear monitors themselves, but remember, if you and your band have a mixer rig that is capable of providing a mix feed into your ears and while still also going into the venue's sound system to project that huge sound out to the crowd, I'm willing to bet you'll probably do more than fine. And if you take the time to have an explanation of what all your inputs are from your in-ear monitor rig, you'll save the local sound engineer some time and sanity too. Reason number 3, in-ear monitor technology is so modular and so fun to work with. This is the part of the video where I give a huge shout out and thank you once again to fellow Denver music YouTuber Scott Yule. His videos have done wonders for all sorts of musicians wanting to explore in-ear monitor technology. But that's also to say, and given the body of work that Scott has in talking about in-ear monitor technology, there's tons of options out there for in-ear monitor music gear pieces that can pair nicely with numerous other pieces of gear to make your in-ear monitor rig work the best it can for you and your music colleagues. While setting up those individual in-ear monitor mixes for any given project is going to be a chore, and perfecting it even more so as you go along, it will go ways to put in the work to where you can swap between IEM mixes for entire bands as needed. I think it's awesome just how frequently I get to learn about all sorts of new and existing pieces of in-ear monitor technology so I can make easier considerations for upgrades to get the best out of my digital mixer rig. Unfortunately, given that my in-ear monitor rig is on the much bigger and heavier side, I'm definitely all ears on how to potentially downsize it for ease of movement. Reason number 4, I feel in-ear monitors have helped me become a far more competent backing vocalist. Do I have wonderful singing pipes blessed to me by Apollo himself? Absolutely not, but I give a lot of credit to using in-ear monitors for helping me to stand as an even remotely suitable backing vocalist. Of course, that also comes with the territory of using in-ear monitors in your own mixing rig to help you determine how much of you actually want to hear. But prior to my using in-ear monitors consistently, I did find it quite, unfortunately, very easy to attempt backing vocals, and then when it came to the live show itself, get totally lost in the mix of a venue's sound system that I couldn't tell if I was accurately replicating what I had sung in practice well before then. But that also feeds into a previous point. I really don't trust stage monitors at local venues all that much. And using in-ear monitors for me has been a huge help for me to accurately figure out where to place my voice relative to what I might be playing for stringed instruments or on keys, and where that fits in the full context of the live band. I know that sounds somewhat silly to say, considering you can of course hear your singing voice as it leaves your mouth, But again, in the context of super loud live music shows, that could be tough for some people where you just get drowned out in the house mix. If the option for in-ear monitors is available to you and you're trying to diversify your skill set with even halfway decent backing vocals like me, they're great for that, and I would definitely recommend them at least for that purpose. Reason number 5, my live music rigs for multiple instruments nowadays are tailored perfectly to work with in-ear monitors. My headbrush pedal board, which I mainly use for guitar, like most other digital guitar modelers, has the ability to easily plug into a venue sound system through a single XLR output. No amplifier on stage to mic up first required. And though my bass guitar pedal board is built around analog pedals, the dark glass preamp pedal that I have right at the end of that effects chain also has an XLR out that I can run right into a venue sound system. Again, no amp needed. My MIDI controller rig for piano, synthesizers, and other fun sounds also has an out that can run right into the venue sound system. I think you get the idea. And not having to haul a large amp around to shows means that I can dedicate space in my car for an in-ear monitor rig, and which, since I mentioned that I near universally refuse to play without them, I'm happy to use that extra space in the car for that rig. Quick caveat, however, and hopefully it still shows up on camera with how I've got this set up. While I don't use a large amp on stage, I should mention that I do have this little monitor from Headrush here as a consistent means to hear myself through a stage monitor of some sort if needed, and always have a backup plan. This is pretty much the only stage monitor I'll ever trust. And lastly, reason number 6, when I think back at my whole experience of playing music just in general, I've always been using in-ear monitors. In this video, I've largely spoken about using in-ear monitors in the sense of performing music in a live show setting, but of all the reasons that I've included in this video, this reason is probably the most foundational of them all. Even in my earliest days of uploading song cover videos on YouTube, I've had the song tracks going into my ears as I played and recorded live takes to them. And is that not so different from the notion of playing live with a full band? When it also comes to creating cover videos, I'm also adjusting the sound of what I'm recording as I play to make sure I can adequately hear myself too as I play against those tracks. And because of my long-standing experience on YouTube doing cover videos and the like, maybe this is why I get grumpy about not getting to use in-ear monitors properly in like actual live show settings. I've just been using them right well before I even took my first steps out towards playing live. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. If you are considering using in-ear monitors to any extent, I hope this video provided some perspective for you on my thoughts on them and why I will continue to use them. And for all the reasons, again, that I described in this video, I think using in-ear monitors is a fantastic solution for all sorts of performance, say, concerns or otherwise that you may have, whether you're doing it in the studio or out on a live stage. I know the subject of just using in-ear monitors is a hotly debated topic still within various sorts of music circles. I still see plenty of discussion on using in-ear monitors in the Denver music spaces as well. And if you love using in-ear monitors, I certainly would love to hear from you about what sorts of in-ear monitor rig pieces that you use, anything that you would recommend people to do, or better yet, if you don't favor using in-ear monitors, I'm sure we could have a fun little discussion about that in the comments of this video as well. But again, using in-ear monitors will be the hill that I will personally die on for music gear, and I wouldn't have that any other way. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.